Media is one of the necessary watchdogs of democracy, which promotes information sharing, shapes narratives, influences public discourse, and serves as a tool to ensure accountability. Equally, the media plays a crucial role in either perpetuating or challenging social norms and behaviours that condone gendered violence. This is achieved through the style of reporting or the language of reporting, issues related to gender-based violence as well as femicide. And for more on this, we now speak to the Commissioner or the Commission for Gender Equality, and we now bring in Javu Baloyi. He joins us via our video link. Jabu, thank you so much for your time this evening here in SABC News. Perhaps let's start off here. As we speak about gender-based violence and related issues, one would try and get just your comment as a Commission for Gender Equality when it comes to the protests we have seen over the past couple of days, and quite in particular the one we saw today outside of the union buildings, where many were calling for gender-based violence to be declared a national disaster.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having the Commission, in particular me as a spokesperson for the Commission, but this time in my own right as someone who has written an article that we shared with SABC. One of the things that, we are particularly pleased is that the activism that we have seen during the shutdown movement, the activism that we have seen in 1in9 and 777 and Not in My Name, has been resuscitated in a very vociferous way. We welcome the initiative that we have seen today, and we're grateful that the Deputy Minister of Women and Youth and Persons with Disability, Steve Litsike, was the one that welcomed the memorandum on behalf of the President, because she's the one that has been on the forefront with us in the trenches for 20 years fighting the scourge of gender-based violence. And similarly, the Commission for Gender Equality was also on yesterday, and with other CR9, Chapter 9 institution, coming with a plan, hatching a plan, a concerted effort to deal with the scourge of gender-based violence going forward, wherein we will be looking at how the NPA, the police, the Tutuzela care centers, the Department of Justice are dealing with issues of gender-based violence. But we also frown at those people who celebrated in Gqeberha the acquittal of Pastor Timothy Omotoso, to say that, he was not guilty all along, yet the judgment says something else. Hence, also, this article came at the opportune time to address some of these stereotypes and the misnomer that people have, and because of lack of knowledge in understanding how gender-based violence manifests itself, how people are indoctrinated and at times made to say things and do things which are unto us.
Yeah, and Jabu, you speak about that article in which you have shared with us, and from your observation, the role that the media has played, what do you make just about how the media has been reporting on gender-based violence issues?
One of the things that, I've been here for years, is the angle of the stories of the media, the concentration during August month and also during 16 days of activism, and also going back to the records and unearthing stories of which are not relevant at that particular moment. There are some instances whereby we have got civil society organizations on the ground that are doing so much that the media wouldn't even go with them during a certain period. The concentration and the angle of the media at times, it's looking at the politicians, it's looking at the individuals who can also make them ratings. It's not supposed to be that. They're supposed to get stories of the women and the men on the ground that are doing so much. The churches that are doing so much, leading the campaign to arrest the scourge in all the provinces. So at times, our focus looks like it's indoctrinated to look at August month and also 16 days. That shouldn't be the case. And hence we said media can also bring positive spin-off in order to educate people in South Africa, and also to capacitate the downtrodden in the rural areas to say, when gender-based violence has taken place, believe the side of the victim, because we're being vilified as people who report cases of gender-based violence. We also need to bring into question, the media can also help to be a monitoring tool to the to the issues of the conduct of the police on the ground, the conduct of the NPA and the justice, so that we put scrutiny on there. That can be done by media as a powerful tool. Remember, all these institutions, including ourselves as a commission and including Human Rights Commission, we can't be everywhere because of the budget constraint. However, if we work with media, whether it's community, whether it's SABC and others, we can also achieve the objective of what we want to achieve, build a better society.
Yeah, and I mean, Jabu, looking at your report, you've been very critical of the media, also talking about things like the media often romanticizes, issues around the 16 days of activism or, Women's Month. What in particular do you think would need to change from the way the media reports? I know that you've touched a bit on the issues around not focusing on politicians and rather going, to those case studies that the media sometimes or often, follows. What really needs to change about the way the media targets gender-based violence stories? And also, I mean, from your engagements with various media stakeholders, what are they saying to you?
Some of the worrying trend is that some of even the stories that are portrayed in the media at times are brutal in nature, and at times they don't come back and give a view what then happened to that story. Remember the story in the Eastern Cape where someone was butchered? I remember there are a lot of stories even in Soweto. The media reported the gruesome stories about that, but they don't come back to the public to say, we have been following, we've been monitoring that. And the people on the ground, at times when they read this and they see this, and not only that, you look at our South African soapies, which are being played in the big media houses, they don't portray issues of gender-based violence in the way they're being unraveled. They portray them in the longest scenes and violence all the time. I can't mention some of the soapies that are happening there. There are no education thereof. People romanticize violence. People think violence is the way to go. And some of them, there are dramas in other television stations which also objectify and degrade women. And yet we're not saying anything. And media is the tool that can. And people at the ground, they're saying, yes, we can also understand some of the issues if they can be educational. I remember some of your institutions like SAFM, they used to have dramas where people will listen. It's national SAFM, Radio 2000 is national, where people can listen to some of these dramas that can capacitate people to understand. So the issue is that media is not partnering with institutions like ourselves to go to the ground to understand those gogos who are suffering, those are being harassed somewhere outside in Eastern Cape or outside in Guyana. I just received a warning story that a gogo was killed somewhere outside Malamulele. But the media won't look at the angle of the story, but they will look at sympathize with the girl that has killed that gogo. So it's worrying trend that the people are saying. And even ordinary people on the ground, they're saying that a media carries a powerful tool, just like a pen carries a powerful tool. Right. So if we can partner together, we can arrest the scourge of gender-based violence and hold people to account in that regard, using the media as a weapon.
All right, that is Javu Baloyi. Thank you so much for your time. He is the spokesperson for the Commission for Gender Equality there, criticizing the media for the role that they've played in terms of reporting on some of these stories, also calling for collaboration with various media houses to try and address some of these issues.